What if everything we thought about success and happiness was, well, maybe a little backwards?
Mm,
Think about it. We're usually told, work hard, then you'll succeed, then you'll be happy.
right. Get the degree, land the job.
Get the promotion, buy the house. Then the happiness kicks in, right? That's the formula we hear.
But what if that equation is, fundamentally flawed? What if the real driver is
Mm-hmm.
be happy first,
Uh-huh.
and that happiness fuels you to work harder, which in turn leads to greater success?
So happiness isn't the reward.
Exactly. It's the powerful fuel that gets you there.
That's a really intriguing idea, and that's what we're diving into today.
Yep.
We're exploring how cultivating a positive mindset isn't just like a feel-good concept, but something that can genuinely create a competitive advantage in your work, in your life.
And our guide for this deep dive comes from excerpts and insights drawn from Shawn Achor's book, The Happiness Advantage.
Right.
We've pulled out some key findings, some research to really unpack this fascinating concept for you.
So our mission today is basically to walk you through the core principles behind this idea,
Mm-hmm.
show you the research that supports them, and maybe give you some concrete, actionable ways you can start applying this knowledge, like right now.
Yeah, hopefully boosting productivity, resilience, just overall well-being.
Okay, so let's set the stage a bit. Think about how much the world seems to focus on negativity and stress.
Oh, absolutely. Shawn Achor shares this example of a wellness week at a New England school.
Right.
And the daily topics were things like eating disorders, depression, drugs, violence, risky sex.
Wow, not exactly uplifting.
Not really. It's all about managing the problems.
And I guess focusing constantly on problems can actually prime our brains to see threats and issues everywhere, right?
Exactly. It's like putting on negative filters.
Okay, so contrast that with this observation about Harvard students.
Yeah, this was striking. Some saw attending Harvard as this immense privilege, a rare opportunity. Others very quickly seemed to lose sight of that and just focused on the crushing workload, the intense stress, the brutal competition.
And did that focus actually affect them?
Well, the research noted that those who saw it primarily through that lens of stress, their performance, even their grades, tended to suffer more.
Interesting. And there was another example, right, from Soweto.
Yes, students in Soweto, South Africa. When asked who liked doing schoolwork, like 95% raised their hands, often smiling,
Why?
because they saw it as a privilege, something their parents might not have had the chance to do.
So that perspective completely changed their experience.
Totally. Their engagement, their motivation, everything.
So this leads to the core idea then. Waiting for external success or perfect circumstances to make you happy, it kind of limits your potential.
Yeah, it's like waiting to feel fast until after you've won the race. It doesn't work that way.
Okay.
Cultivating positivity now is what unleashes that potential.
The book suggests that positive brains simply have a biological advantage.
That's the core idea. They are literally wired to perform at their best when positive.
So what does that mean practically?
Well, they're more motivated, they process information more efficiently, they're more resilient when things get tough,
More creative, too.
more creative in problem solving, yeah, and ultimately more productive.
Okay. Let's get into the science a bit. How does that work?
Right, so positive emotions, even small ones, flood our brains with dopamine and serotonin.
Feel-good chemicals.
We think of them that way, yeah, but their impact is much deeper. They actually dial up the learning centers of our brains.
Really?
Yeah, they increase our capacity to organize new information, retain it longer, retrieve it faster. It helps us think more clearly, see new connections.
Is there evidence for that?
There's some simple evidence mentioned, like students who were just primed to feel happy before taking a math test
Uh-huh.
significantly outperformed their peers who weren't primed. Just a small mental shift had a measurable impact on cognitive performance.
Wow. Okay, so that's the core idea. Now, the book outlines specific principles, right? 7 of them.
Exactly. 7 actionable principles that predict success and achievement, precisely because they capitalize on this power of positivity.
And these aren't just theories.
No, they're patterns backed by research, things you can actively cultivate.
Okay, let's dive into the first one.
Principle 1 is simply the happiness advantage.
Okay.
The fundamental concept here is that happiness should be at the center and success revolves around it, not the other way around.
So what does happiness mean in this context? It's not just like laughing at a joke, right?
Right. It's more than a fleeting good mood. The book defines it as the experience of positive emotions, pleasure, combined with deeper feelings of meaning and purpose.
Okay.
It includes a positive mood now and a positive outlook for the future. It's seen as joy felt while you're striving towards your potential.
Are there specific emotions that are particularly helpful?
Yeah, the book lists 10. Joy, gratitude, serenity, interest, hope, pride, amusement, inspiration, awe, and love. Think about it. When we feel negative emotions, like fear or anger, our focus narrows, right? Fight or flight.
Yeah.
But positive emotions, they actually broaden our possibilities. They make us more thoughtful, more creative, open to new ideas, better problem solvers.
And there's research on this.
Loads of it. Consider the study where people were injected with a cold virus.
Oh, yeah.
A week later, those who reported being happier before the test fought off the virus better had fewer symptoms.
That's amazing.
Another study showed people recovered faster from stress after watching positive videos. It seems positive emotions have a real biological and psychological effect. They improve performance, resilience.
So it's not just about feeling good, it's about functioning better.
Precisely. Framing happiness not just as a mood, but as a kind of work ethic, something you actively cultivate to raise your baseline, gives you that consistent edge.
So how do we cultivate it? What are the actionable takeaways here?
The book offers several specific proven ways. First, try meditating.
Okay. Even just briefly.
Even just 5 minutes a day of mindful breathing. It takes practice, but studies suggest it can actually help permanently rewire your brain for greater happiness, lower stress, even improve immune function.
Interesting. What else?
Something to look forward to. The anticipation itself is powerful.
Really?
Yeah, one study showed just thinking about watching a favorite movie raised endorphins by 27%.
Wow.
So put things on your calendar, even if they're weeks or months away. A concert, a trip, dinner with friends.
Okay, conscious acts of kindness.
Yes. Research suggests doing 5 acts of kindness in a day can make you significantly happier for days afterward. But the key is being deliberate about it.
Right, not just accidental kindness.
Exactly. Then infuse positivity into your surroundings. Simple things.
Like what?
Pictures of loved ones where you work. Making sure you step outside for a few minutes on a nice day. Small shifts.
Exercise is a big one, I assume?
Huge. It releases endorphins, boosts mood, enhances performance. Studies show it can be as effective as antidepressants, often with a lower relapse rate. It's a powerful tool.
What about spending money? Does that help?
It can, but how you spend it matters.
Okay.
Spending on experiences, especially with other people.
Like a concert or a meal.
Yeah, that creates more meaningful, lasting positive emotions than buying more stuff. And interestingly, spending money on others consistently boosts happiness more than spending it on yourself.
Huh, okay, one more.
Exercise a signature strength. Identify skills you're good at, or even better, character strengths.
Like curiosity or gratitude?
Exactly. Curiosity, gratitude, persistence, things like that. Use them. Using a character strength in a new way for just a week has been shown to lead to significant, lasting increases in happiness.
Okay, bringing this into the workplace, recognition, encouragement.
Incredibly effective for boosting efficiency, motivation, creativity, productivity. A simple, genuine compliment, acknowledging someone's effort, it makes a tangible difference.
And this ties into the Lasada line concept.
Right. Studies found that for corporate teams to be really high performing, the ratio of positive to negative interactions needs to be at least 2.9 to 1.
Nearly 3 positives for every negative.
Yeah. It takes that much to counteract the effect of just one negative interaction. And the ideal ratio for peak performance is closer to 6 to 1.
Wow.
And applying this simple idea has led to big improvements, like a mining company that saw performance jump by 40%.
Okay, so that's the happiness advantage. Let's move to principle 2.
Principle 2, the fulcrum and the lever.
Okay, explain that.
This one is all about how our mindset acts as the fulcrum, the pivot point. And by shifting that mindset, we gain leverage to change our reality and increase our power to succeed.
So it's not about pretending things are perfect.
No, not at all. It's about seeing the possibilities to rise above circumstances. The idea is your potential isn't fixed. Adjust your mental fulcrum towards positivity, your lever lengthens, and you generate more power to influence outcomes.
Like Archimedes and the lever to move the world?
Exactly that quote. Or think of a seesaw. Move the fulcrum closer to the heavier side, and even a weaker person can lift it. Your brain's ability to maximize potential works kind of like that.
And the key here is that reality is subjective.
Very much so. Our brain constantly measures experiences relative to expectations or surroundings. which means you have the power to change your perspective in any given moment.
And that shift changes everything.
Fundamentally changes your experience,
Yeah.
and crucially, your capability to act within it.
Is there strong evidence for this?
Oh, yeah. Remember that experiment with the 75-year-old man at the retreat?
Vaguely. Remind me.
They were immersed in the world of 20 years prior, old movies, music, talking like it was back then.
Uh-huh.
And they actually experienced measurable physical and cognitive improvements. Strength, posture, perception, memory. It was like their mindset subtly turned back their internal clocks.
That's wild. And the placebo effect fits here, too.
Absolutely. The book notes belief alone can be 55–60% as effective as actual medication for many things. Our brains are wired to act on what we predict will happen. Expectations create real brain patterns.
Like the cleaning staff study.
Perfect example. Half were told their work was great exercise, the other half weren't. Same work. The group told it was exercise, lost weight, reduced cholesterol, lowered blood pressure. Their mental construction of reality directly impacted their physical outcome.
So how do we apply this? How do we shift our fulcrum?
Actively challenge your initial perception, that long, tedious meeting. Frame it as a chance to learn 3 new things or connect with someone.
Instead of just draining.
Right. Reading for work. Don't see it as just a deadline burden. Maybe it's a lifeline, feeding your growth, giving insight. Focus on the pleasure of learning, not just the end result.
And this applies to downtime, too. Hobbies, family time.
Definitely. Don't view it as just non-productive. Your mindset about its value determines its impact on your energy and well-being.
What about mindset regarding our own abilities?
Huge lever. Simply believing you can succeed increases motivation and performance. Success becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy because you put in the effort.
So focus on why you will succeed.
Yes. Remind yourself of relevant skills, past successes. Focus on your strengths when tackling something hard.
And the growth mindset idea. Believing abilities can improve.
Crucial. Fixed mindset people tend to underperform compared to growth mindset people because the growth mindset folks believe effort pays off. It prevents that learned helplessness.
This also connects to finding your calling in work.
Absolutely. Seeing work not just as a job, paycheck, or career ladder, but a calling. Fulfilling, uses strengths, has purpose that fundamentally changes your relationship with it.
And that's possible on any job.
The book argues yes. If you can't change your job, change your mindset about it. Ask about the potential meaning, like the janitor example.
Cleaning floors versus creating a healthy environment.
Exactly. You could even try rewriting your job description into a calling description. Highlight the meaning, connect tasks to your goals and values. The arrow exercise helps connect small tasks to bigger purposes.
And this mindset impacts others too.
Profoundly. A few words from a manager expressing faith. It can dramatically alter someone's mindset and success.
The Pygmalion effect.
Precisely. Believing in someone's potential helps bring it out. Remember the study where average students labeled superstars became top students because teachers expected more?
Powerful stuff. So for leaders, the questions are, do you believe your people can grow? Do you believe they want meaning? And are you showing it?
That's the key takeaway for leveraging this principle with others.
Okay, principle 3.
The Tetris effect.
Like the game.
Exactly. It's about training your brain to consistently scan for possibilities, not just problems.
Explain the cognitive after-image idea.
If you play Tetris for hours, you might see falling blocks when you close your eyes. Similarly, if your brain is constantly rewarded for finding threats or errors,
It gets really good at it.
too good, you start missing the positives, the opportunities, the very things that fuel happiness and success.
Like a spam filter set to problems only.
Good analogy. Your brain scans for what it's programmed to find. Think about the color red, suddenly you see it everywhere. Selective perception.
But you can reprogram it.
Yes. You can train it to scan for the positive. Instead, opportunities, gratitude, possibilities, create a positive Tetris effect.
And this helps you profit from happiness and optimism.
Right. Gratitude is especially powerful here. Grateful people tend to be more energetic, emotionally intelligent, forgiving, less depressed or anxious.
And gratitude isn't just a result, it can be a cause.
Research suggests so. It could be a significant cause of positive outcomes.
So how do we kickstart this positive Tetris effect?
A simple, proven method. Daily list of good things.
Just list good things.
Yeah. Force your brain to actively scan the last 24 hours for positives. Big or small. A laugh, an accomplishment, a connection, a moment of hope or beauty, anything.
How long does it take?
Even just 5 minutes a day starts retraining the brain.
Sure.
A study showed writing down 3 good things daily for just 1 week led to increased happiness and optimism that lasted for months, even after stopping.
Wow, specificity matters.
Yes, describe why it was good or how it felt.
What about journaling?
Another powerful technique. Journaling about a positive experience in detail 20 minutes, 3 times a week. One study found it as effective for well-being as journaling about hardships. Led to spikes in happiness, fewer illness symptoms months later.
So consistency is key. Make it a ritual.
Absolutely. Pick a time, keep materials handy, maybe involve someone else. Practice makes it a habit.
Okay, principle 4, falling up. This sounds counterintuitive.
It is a bit. It's about finding the mental path that leads out of failure or suffering and makes you happier and stronger because of it.
Not just bouncing back, but bouncing higher.
Exactly. Capitalizing on the downs to build upward momentum.
How does that work with mental maps?
Our brains create maps to navigate life. In a crisis, those maps can feel incomplete. Many people miss the path up. They see only circling around or negative outcomes.
But there's a third path.
Yes, the path to growth and strength. But hopelessness makes people stop looking for it.
So perception of failure is key again.
Crucial. Conceiving failure as an opportunity for growth makes you more likely to experience growth. If you see it as the worst thing, it tends to become that. Like Jim Collins said, we're freed by our choices, not imprisoned by circumstances.
This connects to post-traumatic growth.
Yes. People who experience trauma can sometimes find significant positive growth afterward. Spirituality, compassion, resilience. But it's far more likely if they approach it with a positive mindset.
Using strategies like positive reinterpretation.
Right. Optimism, acceptance, focusing on problem solving. Not everything happens for a reason. But given this happened, how can I make the best of it?
Like Tal Ben-Shahar's quote.
Exactly. Make the best out of things that happen. Every setback holds opportunity if you look for it. The eureka, we failed idea.
There are lots of famous examples, right? Jordan, Disney, Edison.
Yeah, people who failed spectacularly before succeeding. Venture capitalists sometimes even prefer managers with flops because they've learned valuable lessons. Remember the shoe salesman in Africa?
One saw no market, the other saw huge opportunity.
Same situation, different mindset. And Seligman's research found resilient people just had a positive way of interpreting adversity.
So how do we cultivate this? The ABCDs.
Right, a practical tool. Learn your ABCDs for adversity.
A's.
Adversity, the event you can't change,
Yay.
belief, your reaction, your interpretation. Why did it happen? What does it mean? Is it permanent, pervasive, solvable? This is the key step.
C.
Consequence, how you feel and act, which depends directly on your belief.
And D.
Disputation, actively challenge your belief. Remind yourself it's just one interpretation. Look for alternatives, evidence against the negative view.
And then there's decatastrophizing.
Yes. If it really is bad, ask, is it as bad as my initial fear? Often the fear is worse than the reality.
So falling up isn't just resilience.
No, it's using downward momentum to propel yourself upward, capitalizing on setbacks. It's a huge competitive edge.
Okay, next up, Principle 5, the Zorro Circle.
This one's about regaining control when you feel overwhelmed.
How?
By deliberately narrowing your focus first to small, manageable goals, then gradually expanding.
Why is feeling in control so important?
It's a massive driver of performance and well-being. Feeling like your actions matter. When stress mounts, that feeling often disappears first.
And the feeling of control matters more than actual control sometimes.
Research suggests yes. Perceived lack of control over work pressure is a huge health risk factor. Feeling helpless is debilitating.
What about the dueling brain idea? Emotional versus rational.
Right. The emotional system, the jerk, reacts fast. The rational thinker is slower. Stress lets the jerk take over emotional hijacking, feeling overwhelmed.
So how do you get the thinker back online?
First step, self-awareness. Identify and verbalize your feelings.
Just naming them helps.
Yes,
Right.
writing it down, talking to someone. Brain scans show it calms the amygdala, the brain's alarm center, diminishes the emotion's power.
Step 2.
Identify what you can control versus what you can't. Write them down. Focus energy only on what you can impact.
And step 3, the Zorro Circle itself.
Identify one small, quickly accomplishable goal within your circle of control. Narrowing your scope increases the chance of success, like putting your thumb over a hose. Less flow, more force.
Don't try to sprint a marathon.
Exactly. Set moderately difficult, short-term goals. Don't write a book, write a page. Focus on the page.
Like Kaizen, continuous small improvements.
Precisely. Small wins build momentum and confidence.
What are some examples? The messy room?
Yeah, the student overwhelmed by a messy room, counselor said. Just clean a 1-foot circle on your desk. Defend that circle.
And it worked.
He did it. That small success built confidence. Within 2 weeks, the whole room was clean. Same with a cluttered inbox. Handle new emails now. Tackle old ones in small, timed chunks.
So small successes build belief and expand your power.
Exactly. It builds discipline and provides a real advantage in a chaotic world.
Principle 6, the 20-second rule. This is about habits.
Yep. Turning desired actions into good habits by minimizing barriers and adding barriers to bad habits. Knowing isn't doing.
Aristotle's point, we need to act excellently.
Right. We're bundles of habits. Good habits become automatic, like compound interest. But they need uninterrupted frequency to form.
What's the path of least resistance?
The challenge. Inactivity TV, scrolling is easy, requires low activation energy. Active leisure hobbies, sports is more rewarding.
Like 2.5 to 3 times more enjoyable, the book says.
Yeah, but we often take the easier path because active stuff needs that initial push, that activation energy.
And advertisers exploit this.
Absolutely, making their stuff the easiest option.
So the 20-second rule is?
Lower the activation energy for good habits you want, ideally to 20 seconds or less. And raise it for bad habits you want to avoid.
Make good habits easy, bad habits harder.
Exactly. If getting started takes more than 20 seconds extra effort, inertia often wins.
Examples. Guitar in the closet versus out.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Sneakers by the bed, sleeping in gym clothes. For bad habits, turn off notifications, disable auto login, put snacks out of reach, add friction.
What are second-order decisions?
Deciding ahead of time when and how you'll engage. Setting rules before the temptation hits, like check email only once an hour. Decide before a meeting who you'll thank.
Makes the positive action easier in the moment.
Yes. By manipulating activation energy, you make good choices easier, giving you a consistent advantage over just relying on willpower.
Okay, last principle. 7, social investment. This one's huge.
Possibly the most significant. Your social support network is your single greatest asset. Invest in it, especially when facing challenges.
And successful people do this.
Overwhelmingly, yes. They're not lone wolves. Strong social ties lead to more happiness, productivity, engagement, energy, and resilience.
The Harvard Men's Study pointed to this, right? Love being key.
Exactly. Relationships mattered more than anything else over a lifetime for well-being and success.
So social connection is like a basic need.
Increasingly seen that way, like food and air. Strong community multiplies resources, helps you bounce back, increases purpose.
And daily interactions boost happiness.
Even brief positive ones. They nudge your baseline up and strengthen the relationship. A virtuous cycle.
The Very Happy People study. What was the differentiator?
The only consistent differentiator for the happiest 10% was the strength of their social relationships.
And your Harvard study found the same. Social support beat GPA, income.
By far for predicting future happiness.
Is there a biological downside to lacking connection?
Definitely. Chronic loneliness can raise blood pressure significantly, considered as deadly as smoking. Higher risk of depression, too.
But strong support boosts resilience and longevity.
Dramatically. Heart attack survival rates triple with strong support. Breast cancer support groups doubled life expectancy in one study. Hold on to your raft mates.
And this applies at work, too. Edison had a team.
Right. And studies show work friendships are highly motivating, often more than money or status.
So how do we invest?
Like reinvesting dividends. Simple daily habits. Greet colleagues, make eye contact, ask how someone is, and listen.
What about supporting people during good times? That matters more.
Research suggests it might, for relationship quality. Sharing good news is capitalization. Getting a positive, supportive response multiplies the joy and strengthens the bond.
Shelley Gable's 4 response types. Only one works well.
Only active constructive. Genuine enthusiasm, specific comments, asking elaborating questions.
So if a friend gets promoted...
Don't just say, that's nice. Say, that's wonderful. Congratulations. Tell me more. When does it start? Show real interest.
Okay, finally, tying it all together. The ripple effect. Our positivity is contagious.
Yes, it affects everyone around you, partly due to mirror neurons in our brains mimicking the states we observe in others.
So emotions spread, like a mood in a room.
Incredibly quickly.
Yeah.
The most expressive person can transmit their mood in minutes. A boss's bad mood is like secondhand smoke.
But positive emotions spread too.
Absolutely, and you can initiate it, deliberately adjusting your expression, your posture. It shifts your own state, and then that can spread.
Like laughing more in a full theater.
Good example. The more genuinely expressive you are, the more your mindset spreads. Even rooming with higher achieving students can lift grades, potentially through this effect. Eye contact helps activate mirror neurons.
Okay. So wrapping this all up, the core message is,
Happiness isn't the finish line you reach after success. It's the fuel.
right.
It's not about waiting for the world to make you happy. It's about actively cultivating positivity within yourself using these principles.
And these aren't just ideas, they're actionable steps.
Exactly. Changing mindset, building habits, investing in relationships. These give you a real, tangible competitive advantage. You have the power to shift your fulcrum.
Okay, so a final thought for everyone listening.
Yeah, something to consider as you go about your day.
If simply changing how you perceive a tough task or how you react to a small setback or how you connect with just one person today,
Uh-huh.
if that can fundamentally alter your reality, your potential, and your impact, what single small shift will you make, starting right now, to begin activating your happiness advantage?